up. They can reach and they keep doing it.
Yes, if I do it.
And the next time I get it fixed, we'll do that. We'll be open mic.
Thank you. Good to see you.
It's fine.
Hi!
Hi!
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming to the Brass Lantern Live. Woo! Yes, thank you. So apparently you've become familiar with the podcast or you just know one of us. But thank you for coming either way. This is quite an interesting event that's kind of percolated through various artistic endeavors. As you know, this is a product of the imagination of A.G. Devitt. And Andrew, yes, props to Mr. Devitt. He's had this character, the Brass Lantern, kicking around in various personas for about 20 years. And when I approached him one day, or we had a conversation about podcasts, and he's like, I have content. I'm like, I have a podcast, let's do it! So eventually, through the generous funding of CNY Arts, we've been able to get this thing really going and rolling and getting it out there, and which is really kind of wonderful. So, as such, this is reader's theater, so you see scripts on hand, and you see people walking around, not looking at you, I'm sorry. But they have to look at read their line, they don't memorize. And we do a kind of hybrid of sound effects. So some of the sound effects are what we call motivated or Foley sound effects. So door stuff, walking around, I have my martini shaker, which all day, shaking would be great. Yeah, and then the other part of it is our computer-generated stuff, or things that we recorded ourselves that were very difficult to reproduce live. So you'll see me there with my little computer. So we are being recorded. I'm sorry for those of you who might be uncomfortable, but the camera back there to record us. None of your face will be seen unless you want them.
So don't stand right here.
Yeah, right there. And as such, because we are being recorded, you are required to laugh.
Ah!
Yes, or to gasp, yeah, or to clap, or whatever it is may be that suits your fancy at the given moment. A live audience is better than a dead one. Yeah, sorry, bad jokes. Full of bad jokes. Other than that, in case of an emergency, just run towards that way. There's a bathroom there, and sound effects wise, there are gunshots. So don't be alarmed if there's the pistols fired off or a machine gun or something like that. Sorry, it's a violent podcast. We just killed that. But we killed Nazis. It's great.
Yeah.
Other than that, we're going to start very shortly. Thank you all for coming.
Like 15, 20 minutes of comedy. They had 5 different drag queens, 2 acts, and then intermission in the middle of the comic. I did 3 or 4 of the drag queens in the second thing in the second act. There's movement, there's power, there's participation. It's really successful.
Are you talking about the show on Happy Walking?
Yeah.
Files of the Brass Lantern, case number 0. I first encountered the Brass Lantern in a forest just east of the Belgian-German border, having been tasked with delivering a list of Nazi spies to an agent codenamed Garcia. I found this Garcia as he was about to be cut down by a German infantry squad. His body was bathed in something more than moonlight. I had to turn my head as he seemed to explode into a miniature sun. I heard desperate gunfire, screams of agony, and the thunder of twin 45s as this Garcia picked off each of his attackers one by one. I remember being unable to stand for the longest time. Something about that light had disoriented me. And though I was no stranger to death, there was something terribly unsettling and final about each report of those 45s. And by the time I regained my senses, this man, Garcia, was standing over me, and he seemed to be in the grip of madness.
Fire in his head, the sun and moon his eyes, space his ears,
Are you the man they called Garcia?
the wind his breath, the universe his heart.
You single-handedly killed all these men. What was that? Some sort of grenade?
From his feet the earth has originated. Verily, he is the inner self of all being.
Damn it, man, I'm not a poet. I have a list of Nazi spies operating in America. I'm to deliver it to a man named Garcia. Are you Garcia?
Garcia? What? Oh dear, I can't.
Never mind, you old fool. I don't know what manner of luck enabled you to defeat that death squad, but I can't wait around for reinforcements to arrive. If you're not Garcia, I must press on.
Wait. What is it? What is it? Oh yes, thunder. That was the phrase, thunder.
Welcome. The counterside is welcome. You are Garcia.
One of many names. I was born St. John Dare. Here I am Garcia. At home I am the brass lantern.
A brass lantern. You'll forgive me if I don't believe you.
You saw the light, did you not? Felt the awfulness of the power as it burned its way into your brain, the way it burns at mine?
My name is Staff Sergeant Matthew Arnold. When I began this mission, I had a squad of 11 men and 1 radio. Now I have neither. What I do have is this list. You knew the code. My mission is over.
Are you a good man, Matthew Arnold?
Well, there are things I am good at.
But are you a good man, sir?
No. No, I'm convinced I'm a very bad man, but I try every day to be better than what I am.
Good. I am in need of a very bad man who's trying to be better.
I don't understand.
I shall be dead soon, you see.
So you were hit. Where? I have a medical kit.
Oh, I was hit many times. More times than my memory can possibly recall. During the course of this war, I have died and died again, and each time I have been reborn, closer and closer to madness. This last one was one death too many.
Brass Lantern is supposed to be immortal.
Oh, it is. At least I have found no way to kill it. Its host, however, can die, and does die. In fact, must die.
Tell me, old man, was there ever a time you made sense?
You are not a good man, Mr. Arnold. That's not even your name, is it? No, you're an imposter, a fraud.
How did you...
Your life before this war was a waste. War gave you a name. It gave you a mission. This war, Mr. Arnold, is about to end. Then what will you do?
I don't know. Go home, I suppose.
And what? Get a job, work at a bank? No, Mr. Arnold, you needed this war. Once it ends, you will have no purpose, no more missions, just a slow, meaningless march toward death.
Whatever it is you're selling, you're lousy at it.
Do you see this stone, Mr. Arnold?
What is that? It looks like a brass torch of some kind. It's glowing.
It is an ancient artifact, not of this world. No one knows where it came from or when it came from, but it is the original lamp, Mr. Arnold, that held the genie in check.
Damn it, I don't have time for it. What? That light, what's happening?
I must show you, Mr. Arnold. The brass lantern is immortal, but its host cannot be. The power corrupts. It eats away at the brain, destroys any traces of humanity. To become the brass lantern is to be condemned to death. It's a suicide, but one with a purpose greater than the selfishness of the act.
My head feels like it's on fire. I believe you. Turn it off. I believe you.
I have been the brass lantern for far too long. If you do not take it from me, I shall become the very monster I have sought to destroy.
How does one do that if it won't let you die?
Each brass lantern dies at the hand of his successor. If I die while holding the stone rather than regenerating, the creature's life force is imprisoned within.
So how is it freed once more?
If you hold the stone as you die, the life force will pass on to you, a suicide.
But why? Why do this? Why become something that will ultimately destroy you?
Because that power for a time can be used for good. You saw what happened to those Nazis. I've been doing that all over Europe since this bloody war began. I was to continue on back at home with this list you carry, but I cannot. My time is done.
I don't want any part of this. It's madness. I'm just a soldier. I'm nothing special. You said it yourself, I'm a fraud. You don't know the man I was, things I have done. I can't take that power. I become a worse monster than you could imagine.
It is precisely because you do not want it that you must take it. And I fear you will need it. My daughter, Elena,
What about her?
she was conceived, you see, after I became the brass lantern. I should have never, but I loved her mother, you see, so very much, and I was selfish.
So this daughter of yours, Elena, she's like you?
I hope not, Mr. Arnold, but if what I fear comes to pass, if some aspect of this creature passed on to her, she may not be like me at all. She may become something far, far worse. Please, look after her. I beg you, the final request of a dying man.
St. John Dare held the stone in his hands. I pressed my 45 to his head. It was madness. I had killed men before, but this was murder. And if he was telling the truth, it was to be my suicide. Call me a coward, but my survival instinct was too high. I pulled the trigger. I killed him. But I did not have it in me to kill myself. The look in St. John's eyes, it haunts me to this day. He knew. He knew I would betray him. But if this creature was so powerful, so corrupting, why not imprison it? Why not keep the genie locked inside the bottle where it could do no harm? St. John Dare was right. The war did end. I needed a mission. Beacon City needed a brass lantern.
The brass lantern. His justice is not blind, it's blinding. A beacon of justice for the poor, the oppressed, and the uninsured. Evildoers don't fear the dark, they fear the light of the brass lantern. This adventure, Prelude to Perdition, takes place before the events depicted in Episode 1. All events and characters are fictitious. Any similarity to any actual person, living or dead, is purely coincidental.
Here you go, Mr. Arnold. One martini. Straight up, no vermouth.
Please, Miss Masters, call me Matt.
Matt, Matt is too harsh sounding. And you should call me.
Sabrina! Is Max there with you?
No, Elena. It's Matthew Arnold.
Oh, Mr. Arnold, I'm sorry. Sabrina never said you were stopping by.
I'm afraid I came unannounced. I guess I'm still readjusting to polite society.
Matthew is offering the use of his estate for your charity auction.
Oh, well, that's very kind of Mr. Arnold.
It's a worthy cause, contributing to Beacon City's emergency police fund for the uninsured.
Beacon City remains the only city in the country whose citizens have to purchase crime insurance for police protection. It's also the highest poverty rate of any U.S. city. A terrible combination.
Which is why, in addition to offering use of my estate, I have brought a check for $10,000 made out to you, Miss Dare. I trust you will put it to good use.
10,000? That's a lot of insurance policies.
It's also a great deal of hope, Aunt Sabrina. Something the people of this city have lacked since that symbol of hope disappeared during the war.
And you mean the brass lantern?
You're not one of those claiming he was an urban legend, are you, Mr. Arnold?
Please, call me Matt. And I know the brass lantern is real. He saved my life once.
You've seen him?
Yes. Yes, I'm probably one of the few who have, since he blinds his victims.
Victims? Interesting choice of words. We are talking about criminals.
Yes, quite right. You must forgive me. Good and evil, right and wrong. In the moment when the passion takes you, it's easy to lose sight of such concepts.
Your drink is getting warm, Matthew, and a warm martini is a nasty thing.
Thank you, Sabrina, but I really must be going. I just wanted to drop off the check and to thank Miss Dare personally for her efforts on behalf of the people of this city.
That must be Max.
Max Benson, the actor?
Drama professor now. Sabrina is not a fan.
The question is, Elena, are you?
Now, what kind of question is that, Matt?
I'll leave that for you to decide.
Are you always this evasive?
Are you always this direct?
Oh, for God's sake.
Aunt Sabrina, gorgeous as always. Why, you and Elena could be sisters.
Oh, how sweet. And there's not even a camera rolling.
Say, is that?
Matthew Arnold from Luxarn.
And a bona fide war hero, Max Benson. Your reputation precedes you, sir. What was it the Nazis called you, Roosevelt's butcher?
Max.
No, you're right, Benson. That is what the Nazis called me, as they had every reason to.
No offense meant, I assure you. One of the great disappointments in my career was when I wanted to play you in the Matthew Arnold story. But I was under contract to Paramount.
For the best, I assure you. There is as much truth in that film as in your average pulp magazine.
Ah, but acting is the search for emotional truth, not actual truth.
Save it for the lecture, Professor. We have a production coming up, and the sets aren't going to design themselves. I do hope we talk again soon, Matthew.
I look forward to soon, Elena. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some more business to conduct this evening. Good night to all of you.
That the beacon of justice has returned? Any butcher with a gyrodyne and a 45 could have done this.
Yes, any butcher. I guess the war isn't over.
Hitler is dead, Elena, but the Reich is an idea larger than any one man. And if the third failed, there can always a fourth.
You almost sound sympathetic.
Cruelty and barbarism is not a trait unique to Germans. Benson's my stage name. My parents were German immigrants. Farmers, good hard-working people trying to start over in the land of opportunity. Until their barn was burned down one night after the Battle of Inzio, and a swastika painted on their front door with blood from a butchered cow.
Max, that's terrible. I didn't know.
War brings out the worst traits in us all, Elena, the very worst. And hate owes allegiance to no flag. If you'll excuse me now, my dear, I have a meeting to keep with the sponsors. Without them, all of your work on our sets would be for naught.
Oh, you'll dazzle them, I'm sure. And I have an appointment to keep myself.
Yes, your charity auction. Now, don't get too close to that Arnold character.
Max Benson, are you jealous?
Concerned. He was a wealthy brat before he went to war. We all know what that hell turned him into. His charms are superficial, I assure you.
As an actor, you would know, Max.
The word person, Elena, comes from the Latin word for mask. We all have one, but some of us become one.
Go wow the bean counters, Max. I've been handling the Matthew Arnolds of the world my whole life. Besides, I have a mask or two of my own.
To paraphrase Nietzsche, I have sought the face beneath those masks, and I will go on seeking.
actually surprised you answered your own door.
Yes, well, to tell you the truth, I haven't used the main house much since the war. I've mainly just been living in the guest house.
This all does seem a bit much for one person, rather empty.
That's why I'm counting on you to fill it. As you can see, there's plenty of room for whatever you might need.
What about security? It is an auction after all. Lots of valuables, lots of jewelry, cash, all in one conspicuous place.
And a good friend of mine just made police detective. She's agreed to be in charge of security, and she's bringing a dozen armed off-duty police officers with her. You're as safe here as you are anywhere.
What about yourself?
My days of soldiering are over, Elena.
My father said those same words to me once, when I was very young. Then the war came and I never saw him again.
Elena,
What? What is it, Matthew?
your father, St. John.
Did you know him?
I met him in a forest just over the German border. Remember when I told you the brass lantern saved my life?
So, you know. He's dead. I mean, I know he's dead. The war's over. He never came home, but
The brass lantern returned.
he never explained how it worked. But I knew there had been many brass lanterns over the years, each passing the power down to the next.
Hitler would have stopped at nothing to gain the power of the lantern. So your father operated under the code name Garcia. He waged his own war across Europe, saved thousands of lives.
How did he die? How could he die? He didn't share much about that part of himself. He could be cold. He could be cruel. But I always knew the city needed him.
And then the whole world did.
I tried not to be selfish. Tried to understand. Tried to do some good in his place.
The brass lantern is hard to kill, but no one is immortal. He used too much of his power. The war cost him dearly.
His life.
His daughter. Right before he died, he asked me to look after you.
So Max was right. It was all a deception. You used the auction as an excuse to spy on me.
Elena, with your father gone, Beacon needs hope more than ever. You are giving it that hope, not in the dark, but in the light.
Criminals fear the light. It's what my father always said.
The dark hides us, shelters us.
Us? Do you consider yourself a criminal, Matt?
Like I told you, I've been to a place beyond good and evil. I was in the dark for so long, it got inside of me.
You're not telling me everything.
No, I never will.
You're shaking.
I'm fine.
You're not.
I'm sorry, Elena. I'm just not very good with people.
I should be mad at you, but I'm not.
I really do want to help, Elena. Anything you need.
I suppose right now, I need a cab.
I could drive you.
I'm not mad at you, Matthew, but I do need some time.
I'll summon a cab immediately then.
The brass lantern. He is back, isn't he?
No man can replace your father, Elena.
No man should try. Good night, Matthew. I'll meet the cab at the gate.
Good night, Elena.
Without further interruption, we now present the conclusion to our origin story, Prelude to Perdition.
Wonderful job, Elena. Between this and the play, I don't know how you found the time and energy.
I like keeping busy, Aunt Sabrina. Boredom leads to poor decisions.
Were you bored when you met Max Benson?
I know you don't like him, Sabrina, and he is a bit full of himself.
And if you loved him, I'd have seen it by now.
Who said anything about love? I don't have time for it. There's too much I want to do with my life. A man would hold me back.
The right man wouldn't.
And Matthew Arnold is the right man, is that it?
I've seen the way you look at him.
How do I look at him?
Like you don't look at Max.
You are to be congratulated, Miss Dare. Quite a fine turnout.
Councilman Brinkerhoff, thank you so much for coming.
Wouldn't miss it. Besides, my wife would never forgive me if I didn't at least try to bid on one of those Tiffany lampshades.
Well, best of luck to you, Councilman.
Ah, there you are, Elena. A girl pretty as you can't hide in a crowd for long.
Call me a girl again, Max. I dare you. Where have you been, anyway? The auction is about to start.
Elena, come with me, please.
Did you not hear what I said? The auction is about to start. Besides, I can't just leave Sabrina alone in a room full of eligible bachelors.
Elena, please, just this once, do as I ask.
Oh my God! And Sabrina, are you okay?
Tell me, this is part of some stage show.
What damnation!
Watch it, Madeline! Kill everyone but the dead girl!
Oh no.
She will use to the power of the brass lantern.
Oh no, Max, we've got to...
You're not going anywhere, Fraulein. A traitor in the U.S. government revealed the identity of Agent Garcia to us. We know you're the Brass Lantern's daughter.
You monster! The play, everything just a lie!
Actors are professional liars, and they are spies. The Brass Lantern took out the submarine and managed to kill a handful of our men, but most escaped with enough explosives and weaponry to keep Beacon City occupied for weeks, months, however long it takes to get the Lantern's power.
I told you he was no good.
Take the girl, Herr Benson. Use her as you wish, as a reward for your services. But keep her alive. If she does not have the torch that powers the brass lantern, then she will serve as bait for whoever does. Meanwhile, our soldiers will bomb bridges and rail systems and fire into crowded department stores until the citizens of the city are begging for the brass lantern to turn himself in.
Now, detective, put on the polarized glasses I gave you!
What's this noise?
Now, while they're blinded, kill the Nazis!
You heard him, men! It's open season on goose steppers! Let's finally finish this war!
Thank God!
I can't see. I have to get clear.
Benson, you swine, where are you? I'll kill you myself!
But I feel my way through this crowd. Wait for the shooting. What was this? Staircase, yes. Yes, can hide upstairs. Sight's coming back. Everything's a blur. I see shapes. Last at the top of the stairs. I can just find an empty room.
It's over, Benson.
Why?
Has your vision returned, Benson? I want you to see your death coming. Arnold, you act surprised.
I suspected you were charged with carrying the list of Garcia. Your name was on that list. Yours and every other would-be saboteur in the States. I've spent the past months tracking each man on that list down. One of them gave up the plans to use Elena's auction to get the Brass Lantern's attention in exchange for his life. He thought I was an honorable man. But you know better, don't you, Benson? You know all about this honor! My family came to this country believing the promise it offered. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Believe the next line about wretched refuse was meant for you! My sister died in a bonfire set by my fellow Americans. My sister! What gives you the right to judge me? Your aim is still off, Benson. Killing you was never going to be hard, but you just made it easier. You chose to follow Adolf Hitler, a man who out of cowardice blew his brains out to avoid capture. Well, Benson, allow me to help you follow your Fuhrer! No!
Dear God!
Elena,
Just shut up and hold me for one damn second.
Elena, I can explain.
Not now, Matthew. Your mask is off, you see. You don't have to explain anything.
I'm not a good man, Elena. I just hate them. Nazis, criminals, sadists.
The lights. You blinded everyone with giant lights. You don't have the power, do you?
I can't trust myself.
But I can.
You don't know me.
Then let me.
I'll never be able to love you as much as I hate that!
But you could love me.
Elena!
Sabrina was right. Just shut up and kiss me.
But
It wasn't a request.
Matt! Elena! Who's... Max? Benson? What happened here?
time will tell us that, Detective Maldonado, if I allow myself to hope.
You know me, Matthew. I'm all about hope.
The Brass Lantern, Prelude to Perdition, was written by A.G. Devitt and produced by the Lift Group under the direction and sound engineering of Matthew Bowers. Music by Oscar Sabah. Our cast. A.G. Devitt as Matthew Warner. Scott Howard as Elena Nair. Ginny Clapp as Sabrina Master. There. Training Intelligence as Max Benson. Alex Stolzer as Newsy and Detective Maldonado. Elizabeth as Councilman Brickahawk. And C.T. Davis as Nancy and your announcer.
Thank you all for coming. You're welcome to stay. We have refreshments for you, gratis, and have fun with those. And maybe questions, or we have a quick Q&A session, if you wish. If not, that's okay.
Do people want to, because it's a little toasty, like a little bit. Do you want to help yourself to a drink, come back, and those who want to can do a Q&A with us? Does that work? Does that sound good?
That works.
Because it is roasty.
Our artist Mikey Wood has some beautiful artwork
Yes.
available for purchase.
Yeah.
Suitable for framing.
Yes, he came in all the way from Pittsburgh to share his artwork with all of us, so definitely come